Assalamu alaikum, sawadee. We heard some amazing stories from some of our athletes, from Kyra, from Sarah, from Estra, from our friends from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We have Stephan here from Romania, and the list goes on. But what I will do with you this morning is I will share with you my story in sport, which started, I heard everyone speaking this morning when they did their first high jump, when they played their first football game. But my story started long before that. It started in a time where I actually was not born. I believe in 3 W's. 1, where do we come from? 2, where are we now? And 3, where are we going? We know where we're going on the end. But where are we going? So we all come from different sports. I know we have modern pentathlon, we have gymnastics, we have tech ball, we have Paralympics, Special Olympics, and the list goes on. Do you know how many recognized sports there are in the world? Do you know how many sports in the world are either non-Olympic recognized or Olympic recognized? I ask, how many sports you think are recognized? Give me a number. 100? Mrs. Beal, how many? Huh? 200. Okay, anyone else want to tell me? How many sports you think? 150. Saudi always have to be in the middle. You know what I mean? 100, 200, 150. Okay. There's 94. So whoever said 100 was very close. Go Singapore. Okay? Now I show you a video of all the different sports in the world. You will be surprised. Michael, if you're not sleeping right now, you can push start. There we go. These are all our members in the organization. I am the vice president, and which is recognized by the International Olympic Committee. So you have all the water sports. Water sports include sailing. It's a very tough sport. Jet skiing. It's an Olympic recognized sport. Surfing just made a debut in Tokyo and will be included in Paris and in LA. Look how many sports you actually recognize. The winter sports. You know there's only 2 sports recognized with animals, sledge dog and equestrian. Rock climbing, included in LA and in Paris. The combat sports. the extreme sports, sepak takraw, the mind sports, American football, baseball, table tennis, badminton, polo, dance sports, rugby,
And that's it. It's all over.
cricket,
And Cadell Evans will come back a sprint.
ladies and gentlemen, we are sports. And today of the Day of Tolerance, as we heard from mini golf today, as we heard from so many, some, they even been embarrassed in a way that they've been at a sport which may not be as well known as others. But what we have to learn, sport is very regional. It depends where the sport started and how the sport developed. By example, I'm German. Okay, football is obviously a very big sport in Germany. Handball is probably the second biggest sport in Germany. But if you go to England, they don't play handball. At the Olympic Games in London, they couldn't even put together a proper handball team because they don't have a proper existing network. Rugby is very big in France. And from my house to France, it's 5 minutes walk. In Germany, no one plays rugby. Cricket, Pakistan, India, South Africa. In Germany, no one would know what cricket is. So we need to understand every sport is born regional. And obviously then there's the pinnacle sports, which is football, by example, basketball, which everyone in the world knows. So never be ashamed of the sport you are doing. When I started Muay Thai, everyone thought it's a blood sport. It's a violent sport. We try to kill each other. And over the last weeks, many of you have seen the beauty of Muay Thai and the cultural aspect of Muay Thai. I think I'm going the wrong way. Now, I want to show you the Olympic pyramid. It is not easy to go up there in the Olympic Games. And Samara can tell you a little song on this because she's an IOC member. You need to go up in the elevator system. First, you need to become a world-recognized sport. We take, by example, the sport I represent, Muay Thai. For over 16 years, we have been a member of AIMS, which I'm now the president. And then, only in 2021 in Tokyo, Muay Thai have become an IOC recognized sport. And now we are a member of ARIFS. And only if you are a member of ARIFS, you can apply to be part of the Olympic summer or winter program. It's a long, long journey. And today we're living in a world where every day a new sport is developed. And it doesn't matter in football. If you make the goal half a meter longer or half a meter shorter, you put the penalty spot to 12 meters and the 16-yard box to 20, it's football. You cannot give the sport a new name and try to start again and then try to compete against FIFA. All these sports are part of the IOC. Now, the IOC, the IPC, the Special Olympic, it's the main building where all the sports are located. And they have a vision. It is not just competing. It is not just who win the gold, silver, or bronze medal. Because on the end of the day, it's going to be very little, which is going to end up at the podium. The vision is to build a better world through sport. And through this vision, they have values: excellence, respect, and friendship. And these are the Olympic values. The core values of the Olympics are based on the foundation we stand every day on: respect one another, friendship. Let's build a peaceful world regardless where we come from. And second, excellence. Let's do the best what we can do, competing with ourselves to be the best what we can be in life. It is not to go in the footsteps of others. You have to build your own footprints in life. And this will create your legacy. And the same values of the Paralympics, they will be added with courage, inspiration, determination, and equality. Because the Paralympics, they deal with a total different kind of people, because these are the real heroes in sports. They have overcome obstacles which we only can dream about. If you open the newspaper every day, on the front page, you read about war, you read about financial crisis, you read about all the things where we fail. And then you turn the newspaper around, and then you look at the heroes of life. People which have faced the biggest challenges in life. Overnight, they have become paraplegics. And they have turned their life around and have shown us that courage is all what it takes. And they are an inspiration to all of us every day. And they are the real heroes, and they are the ones we look up to. And obviously, our next partner is the Special Olympics for people with intellectual disabilities. But on the end of the day, we are all part of the sporting families. Anyone which have trained this week with Husna or with Ezra, know they are unbelievable athletes. And they have gone through hardship in their youth because of discrimination, because of prejudice. But they have become who they are today. And we are so proud to have them here today. And in a couple of years, they're going to be leaders in the world of sport, in the world of business, in the world of politics, because through their determination, they are the best they can be, and they are an inspiration to so many others. So we should put our hands together for all of them. Now, let me tell you about my background. I'm German. Okay, by now you would have realized it on my accent. I'm coming from a country with a very dark past. We are responsible for probably two of the biggest wars this earth has seen. The German people have been living under a dictatorship, and for many years they have created mayhem around the world. Discrimination for Jews, which probably was the biggest mass killing in history. Black people, and the list goes on. This is the Germany of the 30s and the early 40s. But this was not the German people. It was the German leadership. In 1936, Germany probably staged the biggest Olympic Games of that era. It was Adolf Hitler's game. Even today, people forget the Olympic flame. He invented it. They never took that away. All the things, the parade and everything, that was his craziness. So Germany at this time wanted to show the world we are the number one power in the world in every aspect, especially in sport. Can you see the next slide? It's not moving. But then comes this story about two outstanding athletes. One of them called Jesse Owens. He was probably one of the greatest American athletes of all time. He was a Negro. And he was an Aryan. He was the pin-up boy of everything the German system wanted. Blonde, blue eyes, strong, athletic. And then this guy come along, and they have become the biggest rivals in the games. And the leadership of the German Nazi regime did not like it. Because first of all, the fastest man in the world was black. The Germans only become second. And the people of Germany, they loved Jesse Owens because he was a model athlete. And Lutz Long, which was the greatest German athlete, he had this rivalry in friendship with Jesse Owens. Can I see the video?
It is not only a tally of medals which turns a champion into a hero. If there's one man who will exemplify the ultimate Olympic hero, it is America's Jesse Owens. His achievements, though equaled since in the record books, are as remarkable for the dignity and grace in which they were performed as for the barriers they broke. Archie Williams was Owens' teammate in 1936 and the winner of the 400 meters.
I guess I would call him the Superman of the team, and everybody knows that. But I mean, I felt that he was one in a million.
Surrounded by Nazi propaganda and its doctrine of Aryan superiority, Owens became the dominant figure of the 1936 Games in Berlin. He was cheered every time he entered the stadium and treated like a star. He was, after all, the fastest man in the world, black or white. Owens won the 100 meters with relative ease from his teammate Ralph Metcalfe. The 200 meters saw a bigger margin of victory, breaking the Olympic record by almost half a second. He completed the sprint treble by helping the American 4x100 meter relay team to a 12-yard victory with a world record that would stand for 20 years. His fourth gold medal proved to be more of a battle.
He was so good. He never practiced a long jump. I don't think he practiced enough, because some of the times he would foul out, or he would always miss qualifying because he didn't have a step down.
Owens almost failed to qualify for the long jump until his main rival, the German Lutz Long, suggested that he move his mark back and make sure of a safe, legal jump. Once in the final, Owens and Long battled it out in front of a strongly partisan crowd. When Long actually equaled Owens' jump, the German crowd erupted in excitement. Owens responded with an even longer leap, then sealed his victory with a new Olympic record with his final jump. In front of Hitler and the 100,000 crowd, Lutz Long was the first person to congratulate Owens, cementing a friendship that was to last until Long was killed at the Battle of San Pietro in 1943. Recalling his feelings at the time, Owens later said, "You can melt down all the medals and cups I have, and they wouldn't be a plating for the 24-carat friendship I felt for Lutz Long at that moment."
And my friends, that is the spirit of sport. But this story doesn't end there. Because Lutz Long He could have won this jump and take the gold for Germany, but he was coaching Jesse Owens. And there was a friendship. He was sent immediately on the front by Adolf Hitler and died only a couple of months later. While Jesse Owens' battle continued in the United States because he was still black. And when the presentation was done for his greatest Olympic achievement, he wasn't allowed to use the front door of the hotel back home. He had to use the service entrance because of his color. So this is the irony of sport. And this, at the same time, is the beauty of sport. Regardless what the people think about Germany at the time, it was this, was the German spirit in sport. So let's never forget this. And this was my first memory as a youth, because my grandmother, she told me all these stories when I was young. So I got interested in these stories. This story continues. History, Germany lost the war. Criminals, the Nuremberg trial. We have been responsible for the biggest mass killing of one race in the entire human history. Over 5 million Jews have been killed in German concentration camps. This is something the Germans cannot erase from their history books. But it was not Germans. The German people had no idea about it. They've been fighting for survival, because by then Germany was on fire. The Russians, the Americans, the French, the Canadians, all of them, they started to attack Germany, and the German people, they've been fleeing their homes, and my mother spent her entire childhood in a bunker. Even today, when there is thunder, she sits in the chair, shaking. She never recovered from her trauma as a kid. So while Germany in 1945 finished the war because there was nothing to fight anymore, the German people have been demolished. Germany was nothing left. The women built our country because there was no men left. Either they died in the war, or they have been prisoners of wars, or they have been unable to work through the injuries. So it was the German women which started to rebuild the destroyed cities. Germany lost all their confidence in the world. It was a country of criminals, losers. 1945, a new government came, but the country was down. Then comes the Soccer World Cup 1954, 9 years after. Germany was coming there just as a team to make up the thing. And all of a sudden, Germany found himself again as a team. And then there was this historical final against the best team in the world. A team which had beat Germany in the first round 7-1. And it was the birthplace of Adidas. Because Adidas developed a new sports shoe for football where you can take the little socks off. And the German team could adopt to the rain. And there's the famous thing when they asked the German national coach, how will the game to today? And he looked up in the sky and said, like, it's up to God. If he gives us rain, we will win. And then comes this game from 1954. You know, the word Tor in German means goal. Goal, goal, goal. This is the most famous word in the German language. If you Google the most spoken word in the German language, it's Tor. Because on this day, Germany made this impossible possible, and they won the World Cup. And all of a sudden, Germany was back. The people believed in themselves again. They went on the street. They celebrate. Each player got a VW Beetle, if you understand this old car, the little Beetle. And because of this goal, Beetle have become the most sold car in the world. From 54 to 70, every German who wanted to show something had to drive a Beetle. So we say in Germany, the birthday of the new Federal Republic of Germany was not in 45. The birth date was in 54 because of football. The Germans all of a sudden got confidence again and they started to believe again. The Germans have been ready for the future. They wanted to show the world that Germany is ready for an Olympic game. 72, Munich. I remember I was coming home and my grandmother was crying. I was 9 at the time. And I said, Granny, what's wrong? She said, why again? Why? And I had no idea, I was far too young. She said, why? Because the 72 Olympic Games was the darkest day in the history of the Olympic Games. Because it was a terrorist attack inside the Olympic Village where 9 Jewish athletes lost their life. It was in the middle of a celebration where Germany should have been back to show the world we stand for peace. This is the no Germany, never war again. And the flag of the Olympic Games have been at half. And if you know the word, the games must go on. This was the day where the entire world stood there in disbelief. In the middle of the Olympic Games, the athlete village was attacked and innocent athletes lost their life. And even 50 years later, we still remember this. And if you look at the Olympic Games today, the security is the most expensive part of the Games because this history can never repeat itself again. And sadly, it was again in my country. This is me. This is me on the end of my career. You can look in my eyes and I thought like, it's over. The Fox is done. Time, to give up. By then, I was on crossways and I thought, time to hang up my gloves. But then was the 1996 Olympic Games in Barcelona. Please play the video. And then, on the day in the week where I would hang up my gloves, this happened. Derek Redmond, he was the favorite.
Clap or a pop.
Final, he should have won the gold.
And looked across and all the guys had finished.
He just wants to finish.
That's his father.
And he said, look, you don't need to do this, you can stop it now. You haven't got nothing to prove. And I said, oh, I have.
Breaking all the rules. The coach was never allowed on the field.
He's getting the chair of the games.
He finished the race. 4 minutes after the race was finished, he was limping over the line. All he wanted to do is cross that line where he trained his life forward. And his father jumped out of the stand, fighting away all the officials. And on the end, they just let him go to help his son to finish that line. And this is why we are so proud to have so many parents here with us. Astra, friends from Uganda, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, and the list goes on. The parents are here to help you to cross that finishing line. It doesn't matter if you come in first, fifth, tense as long you cross that line. And now is the time where you put your hands together for your parents for being there for you every day and help you to cross that line. And that was me. Because I looked at this video and I said, I gotta do another 5 fights. If he can do it, I can do it. My time is not up yet. So I won my last 5 fights of my career, and I owe it to Derek Redmond, because if he would not have done this at the Barcelona games, my career would have finished. He inspired me to become what I always wanted to be. From there, when the lights went out and I hung up my gloves, I wanted to continue in the sport. So my next stop of the journey was to give my experience to the next generation. And that was in 1999. At this time, no woman was allowed to fight in Thailand. Girls was not allowed to step in the rings. So my first mission was to build up a female champion and to show them they are equal. So I took an Australian young girl, made her my student, and we trained together for over 1 year. Then she became the first ever female world champion and the first ever female which got honored by Her Royal Highness the Princess for gender equality and for standing up for the females. That was my birth, because I remember the words of my old coach, which said he is not with me anymore. At this time, I was far too young to understand, far too much ego, It was more important for me to show off with the girls than, understand what he was trying to teach me. He taught me a very important lesson, which only years later I understood. He said to me, young Fox, the first belt is what you steal out of martial arts. The belt, which no one sees, and only you see every morning when you wake up and every night when you go to bed, is the belt, it's what you're giving back. And when I finished my career, only then, when the light was out and I was alone, I understood what the old man was trying to teach me. He was teaching me, when you're done with all this, now give something back and spread what I have taught you. Pass it on. And this is the generation contract we have in sport. Now, you're all eager. We listen to Ezra. You're never going to come home without a medal. Will be seen. Okay? Everyone else, it will be seen. And you know what? Looking at them and looking at the confidence, I have no doubt that he will come back with a medal. But listening to him, I have no doubt that he will inspire so many others, that he will be the reason that so many others will not give up. And that is as important. And I strongly believe in this. This is the lesson of sport. From there, I became a referee. When I was done with coaching, I said, now it's time that I learn the middle of the ring. So I started a referee and became an official. That taught me the other side, because many times I thought I won. Many times I thought about the referee, why are you stopping me? You know what I mean? Then I learned, yes, he's doing the right thing, because he was protecting me. He was not against me. He was actually in my corner. Because if he wouldn't have done this, I probably would have had a couple of scars more. So I understood the importance of officiating in sport. On a good day, the referee is our best friend. On a bad day, we hate him because we think that he stopped us from winning. So I understood this with years, how important the officiating is in sport. From there, it was time to let the next generation take over the places I occupied even maybe too long, as a coach, as a referee. So I made my way to an administrator. I was, first of all, helping my own sport to get more recognition, to ensure safeguarding, to make sure that the people understand this is not a violent sport, this is a beautiful sport. And from there, I used my experience to also help other sports, other friends. And from there, this sport selected me to become their leader. And from there, the journey continued to today, where we have a very close cooperation with the International Olympic Committee. And maybe I'm an outsider to who I am. And I believe it's much better to be on the outside than on the inside sometimes. But it showcases my journey. So what did we learn from all this? Your journey does not start from the first day you kick a ball. Your journey starts much earlier. And your journey will not stop from the last time you kick a ball. Because you must teach others how to kick a ball. You must teach others how to get involved. You must teach others what respect, fair play, and honor means in sport. You must preach the ethics. You must make sure that through social medias, through whatever, you become advocates of sport. Because there's one thing we must understand, and you listen to Lala this morning about her upbringing in Palestine, how hard it was. You listen to our friends of Saudi, how there is now, everything is changing. It's opening up. Females can compete. They have now female coaches. Females can travel. The same goes for so many other countries. The world is changing. And the world is changing because we work as a family. Gender equality is not possible without man. The man must ensure that this gender equality is given. I tell you another story. When I was an administrator, I was in Iran because the Islamic Republic of Iran did not want to send female teams to our event. They said, no, they're not allowed, they're not going, they cannot be in the same place as men, and I heard the entire thing. And I listened for 15 minutes on their explanations. And then I said, yeah, that's easy then. And no more men also. That's equal then. See you later. When you come back and make a decision, now, Muay Thai in Iran is a very big sport. They win a lot of medals. So then all of a sudden the negotiation started. First they had to come with protection and all, then second and third and fourth. And 5 years later, Iranian females have become stronger than their men. They now get more funding than their men because they have been so hungry to compete while their men are going in the competition, whatever. The girls have been come because they had the Rocky, the eye of the tiger. You know what I mean? They wanted to fight. And at every world championship, today, the Iranian females are coming back as the winning team, while the men, lucky to win a medal at all. And that is female development. Because if we don't go there as a man and talk to other men and say, listen, mate, you're wrong. It doesn't work like this. The Stone Ages are finished. Let's help you to open up. Let's build your reputation a little. Show them that your country is not like this. So it takes good people to go there and make them believe that doing this is actually good for them. Doing this is giving them actually more credibility. And that's why we call it a family. And a family, The mother and the father, they have different responsibilities, whatever they may be, but it's a family. They make decisions together. They move in the same direction because it's the direction of their child. They both want to have the best for their child. If they work in different ways, then the child is torn in two different directions and is not moving left or is not moving right. That's why working together is so important. Sport is an important tool in this world. Many people don't understand. We are born with sport and we die with sport, regardless how you want to see it. Born, I remember as a young kid, you know what I mean? After school, back in the corner, straight out football, kicking every tree, going crazy, doing stupid things. You know, today, where in my days, football was competing against handball and basketball for more members, today we are fighting esports. We're in a totally different world. Kids are coming home, they lock themselves in the room, and all of a sudden they start, you know what I mean? And start to do esports. And I'm not saying esports is a bad thing. There's many good things in esports if it's controlled. But this is the world we are facing because it's a new area. Half of the time, I don't even understand. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I would not even understand what she's talking about. It's like, yeah, whatever. I finished high school without Google, so come back to me another day. But that's how it is. The only way I can stop it is I put the cable out of the wall and wait for the battery to die. And then I'm back in the business. But this is the world we are living in. Sport has changed. The kids today are not the same. And we must understand that. And there's only one thing. Change or be changed. We either go with them or we stay behind. Because this train is driving. We're either on it or we are not on it. So this is very, very, very important. And last but not least, let's not forget, regardless on the abilities we have, we are very lucky. We are lucky, all of us. And this is also including Esther and everyone else. Because if Esther would be born somewhere in Africa, the opportunities would have been totally different. His life would have been totally different. And that goes for all of us. First of all, we are born in a life of loving parents, which care for us. Second of all, we are born in a system, most of us, where education, health, and sport is given. You want it, it's there. You want to play, you can play. You don't want to play, you don't want to play. Many kids in this world, they're born in wars. They're born in total poverty. They don't have a glass of milk. I remember when I was coming home in the evening, scarred up from, playing football or being stupid, there was always a glass of milk, bit of honey, and a little Band-Aid, and a good night kiss from my mother, and the next day I was ready for round 2. These kids have nothing. There's no milk. There's no hospital. They have to walk 200 kilometers to see a doctor. School, in many countries, the girls are not allowed to go to school. And if there's school, it's somewhere a shed in the middle of the bush. Football? Come on. My daughter, when she was 12 or 13, she was coming home and trying to tell me that she needs a pair of new football shoes. She's going, Daddy, we had a team meeting, and they told me these new Nike shoes gonna make me a much better player. After I stopped laughing for 5 minutes, I say, the shoes make you a better player. Seriously, you're talking to me now. I'm born in a family with 6 kids. I wore my brother's shoes, which was 3 sizes too big. You know what I mean? I said, learn how to do a proper kick, and I may think to buy a pair of shoes which are better. For now, these shoes really are good enough for what you play. But this is the world. Could you imagine now a kid in many, many countries around the world where the parents earn $20 a month and have 5 mouths to feed? So we should not forget many times that regardless of the circumstances, we are actually okay. And because we are okay, we should use this okay to really help others. And there's many ways to help. And this is, I want to finish off, why I kept this last session for me. Okay, I've been there. I'm not coming from a rich family, but I did okay. I learned my lessons. You know, the school taught me the ABC, the street taught me the rest of the alphabet. That's how it works. Okay, I did not have a golden spoon, but I had a spoon. And I had something on the spoon, which was most important. And yes, we had to share a meal with 8 people, sometimes with 9, if my grandmother was sitting there. But I done okay. You know what I mean? There was always enough food. So we should be happy with what we have. And when we have to give. Never anyone got poor by giving. So, if it's a little, and it doesn't have to be money, there are so many other things we can give to society. We can help others. If it's only encouragement, only to have that little weak kid, which everyone thinks is weak, to take on the side and tell him, I'm standing with you. You're the cool kid. I like you. Don't worry about the others. That little help means more than $1,000. Him or her walking home proudly because he or she made a new friend. That's more worse than anything else, believe me. Especially for kids which are lonely, which have no friends. It helps. Money is important in life. But money is not everything. There's many, many other things in life we can give. Important things we can give. And that is why I'm so proud to be part of UTS. And that's why, first of all, I would like to thank Julia. Okay? Because Julia is a very kind person. She's got a heart out of gold. I'm more, let's say, a hard ass. Okay? You know what I mean? I have different ways to make myself heard or understood. Let's say it like this. But Julia is really doing it from her heart. Her heart is out of gold. And it's like yin and yang. You know? Good cop, bad cop. That's how it is. Okay? Yin yang. You can say whatever you want to do it. But this is the entire team. I want to say that the success of this event is teamwork. Everyone have different abilities, like you. Okay? Believe me, I said it on the beginning, and I say it again. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. I'm not the smartest guy. But I have very smart people around me which make me look smart. That's good enough for me. They write my speeches. They make sure my letters are, politically correct. Okay? They get filtered before I send them because sometimes I put things in there, and then they say, like, okay, take the out and we send it. So this is what the team makes. And this is, looking at the 15 youth ambassadors we have, all of them are incredible human beings. Regardless where they come from, regardless what talents they have, regardless of their abilities, we are so proud to have you. And certainly all the other ambassadors, which are going to be our future ambassadors, because generation, there will be changes. Okay? Please, let that be your entry point, and from now on, you make sure that you come and support us, because it's as much as what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. It goes two ways. You must help us too. You can come and criticize us. You get slapped, but that's okay. I'm kidding. You can come and criticize us. You can say, listen, we want this. this could be done better. Please, talk to Julia, not to me. Talk to Julia. She's got a heart out of gold. Okay? Give us constructive criticism. We need you. And above all, come and support the good cause. Don't go home now and say, oh, that was great, excitement. 2 weeks or 3 weeks, oh, UTS. Then it becomes UT. Then it becomes U, and then it becomes nothing. You know what I mean? One letter in the week can vanish. So make sure you continue. 12 months later, we're going to have another festival in a different country. You will come again. You can make this your yearly event because eventually you get older. I leave you with one last story. We have another initiative called Sport is Your Gang. Very one also to my heart. It's an initiative which we do around the world to take kids off the streets and give them a belonging. That's why we say you join our gang, the gang of sport. Okay, we try to take them. Here in Bangkok, we have over 3,000 kids in different projects. Okay, and this project we started in 1999. So it's already going for many years. And what we do is we build sport facilities in the poorest areas of the world. In the middle of Mexico City, in the middle of Joburg, in Bangkok. We go to the government, we get space under bridges, we build small sport facilities, we get social workers or institutions to help us. We can see, are these kids homeless? Are these kids having problems at home? We get them checked. Are they HIV positive? Hep B, A, B, C, and so on. So this project is very important. Okay? A couple of months ago, I was at an event, sitting there, and all of a sudden, this girl come, and she fall on her knees, and she poured me a glass of water. I thought, that's nice. What's going on here? And then she said to me, you may not remember me. I joined you in 2004. I was homeless. I was an orphan. And you took me in your program. And I finished university now. And now I'm a social worker at this thing. I was sitting there, I was touched. Because I had no idea who she was. I'll be really honest with you. Okay, she was part of the project. So I must have met her at one event or whatever. But then I went home that night, and believe me, I was very proud of myself. Even I had no direct involvement in her growing up. It was our initiative which took her off the street, which gave her education, and made her realize that now she is giving back the same way as she has grown up with us. And that is a beautiful story. And that gives me the spirit to continue. So I would like to say thank you to all of you, the parents, everyone else which contributed. And tonight, we always see you at the Ambassador Hotel at 7:30. You will get medals, certificates, we will have time to talk, we will have some fun, because between all the seriousness, fun is everything. Okay? Yes, the world is a fragile place. And yes, there is hunger and poverty everywhere. But in order to sprinkle sunshine, you also must sprinkle a little bit of sunshine on yourself. Because otherwise, that's never going to work. So what we're going to do tonight, we earned it. We're going to all sprinkle that little bit of sunshine on all of us. So I see you tonight at 7:30 at the Ambassador, and thank you so much.